Dimensions are used in drawings to communicate the size and shape of the part or assembly being detailed. In SolidWorks drawings, you have the ability to import the drawing dimensions used in the sketches and feature of the 3D model, or you can create new drawing dimensions to supplement the design information or to create a new dimension scheme. In this lesson, we will explore the different ways to add dimensions to drawing views, how to manipulate existing dimensions, and how to adjust dimensions property to communicate the information you require. There are two main types of dimensions that can be represented in the SolidWorks drawings, driving dimensions and driven dimensions. Driving dimensions are imported into a drawing from the 3D model and control its geometry. They are the dimensions created in the sketches and features of the 3D model and may be also be referred to as model dimensions. Driving dimensions can be modified from the 3D model or the drawing views they are imported to in order to make changes to the model geometry. Driven dimensions on the other hand do not control the geometry and are added to the drawing manually. Driven dimensions can be used to supplement to the drawings or to create new dimension scheme other than what was used in the 3D model design. Driven dimensions cannot be modified to update the model geometry, but will update with the part if changes required. You may need to rebuild to see the changes in driven dimensions. The default setting in SolidWorks will display driven dimensions as gray, while driving dimensions will appear as black. Since most of the dimensions I created in the features of the spring clamp model are the same dimensions I wish to use in the drawing, I'll import them into the existing drawing views. These driving dimensions as well other notation creation in the model can be imported using the model item command. Like most command in SolidWorks, the model items command can be accessed from the several locations when working on a drawing document. I'll be using the command manager throughout this lesson, but this command is also located in the insert drop-down menu or the shortcut toolbar if you prefer. The model items tool has many options for importing information into the model. All dimensions can be brought into all views at once. Or to have more control over how to where the dimensions are added, I can choose specific feature and views to import to. To start, I'll pre-select a face of the left groove feature in detail view B. Tooltips appearing next to the cursor give me information about which feature the faces in the view are associated with. With this geometry selected, I will activate the model items command. The property manager appears and the options are automatically set to use the selected feature as the source of information being imported and detail B as the destination view. I'll complete this command and move the model dimension to a more appropriate position for this view. Dimensions can be moved by clicking and dragging the next with the left mouse button. Multiple features could also be pre-selected by using the control key on the keyboard. In detail view A, I'll select faces of the groove right and groove right pattern features while holding control and then choose the model items command to bring in the related dimensions for both of these features. Dimensions can also be repositioned while still working within this command. Notice the cursor feedback that appears as I move to pointer to a dimension. This icon represents functions of the mouse buttons. I can use the left mouse button to move the dimension or the right mouse button will hide or show the model dimension. I'll use another technique to add model dimensions to detail C. This time I will activate the command and then make the selections. The source is set to selected feature. I'll clear the checkbox to import to all views and choose detail C from the sheet. I'll choose faces for the features whose dimensions I want to represent in this view and move the dimensions to appropriate positions. For the remaining model dimension, I'll use the control key to choose the three views on the sheet where I would like to have the information brought into and initiate the model items command. Instead of choosing specific features, this time I'll choose the entire model as the source. Under the dimension option in this command, the checkbox to eliminate duplicate is selected. So the items I have already brought into the drawing will not be inserted again. Taking a closer look at these dimensions options, notice there are several different types of dimensions I can choose to import. So far I have just been bringing the dimensions that mark for drawing, which is the default setting. The second button lets you bring the dimensions not marked for the part. When creating a 3D model, the default setting is mark all dimensions for importing to the drawing, but this can be toggled off in the modify dialog used for defining the dimension value. I can also choose to add dimensions for the number of instances to pattern features. I will turn this on, add information about the group pattern feature in the model. These can be used to create parametric nodes to call out the patterns in the drawing. Another option here gives me the ability to just bring in dimensions from the model that have tolerances defined. In the second now are selections specific to whole wizard features. I can turn on the dimension for the whole profile to be inserted, dimensions for the whole wizard locations, or have whole callouts added. Other items such as annotation or information relating to reference geometry can be imported from the model using the options below. I will complete the command, and dimensions appropriate for the view orientation chosen will be added to the drawing. I'll use the left mouse button to reposition the dimensions on the sheet. Beside the driving model dimension, driven dimension or reference dimension can also be used to detail drawing views. Driven dimensions are added manually to existing driving views using the dimension commands. For this drawing, I will create a reference dimension to add more information about the chamfer in the detail C. I'll use the smart dimension command and select the geometry I would like to dimension between. When adding dimensions to a drawing view, there are some additional tools to assist with working in this environment. The circle that appears under the cursor is the rapid dimensioning tool. It allows you to easily locate dimensions of a view to help reduce mouse travel. If other dimensions already exist around the view, this tool will automatically create proper spacing. To dismiss this tool, it can be turned off from the dimension property manager, or simply moving the cursor away from it will allow to dimension to be placed manually. The default gray color of the dimension is an indicator that this is a driven dimension for a reference and it cannot be modified. All driving dimensions are black by default and can be double click in the drawing and change to update the 3D model geometry. Dimensions can be manipulated in several ways. I will make some modification to the dimension in this drawing to move them to different views, align them and adjust some of their properties. Drawing dimensions can be moved to another view by holding down the shift key on the keyboard and dragging the dimensions. The cursor will indicate a no symbol until I have positioned the cursor on a view where the dimension can be represented. To copy a dimension from one view to another, use the control key while performing the drag and drop. Multiple dimensions can be selected and moved to copied at the same time. If necessary, dimension can be deleted from the drawing by selecting the dimensions and hitting the delete key on the keyboard, or hidden by selecting hide from the right click menu. If a dimension has been hidden, it can always be shown again. by using the hide show annotations command from the view drop-down menu. Dimensions properties can be modified to add information such as text or tolerance, or to adjust how to dimension appear in the drawing. Dimension properties can be accessed in the property manager when a dimension is selected, where they are grouped into three tabs available at the top. Some of the more common properties are also available in the graphic area by using dimension palette. The dimension palette appears as small icon in the graphic area near a selected dimension. It can be expanded by moving the cursor over it. Here I can add text, a tolerance, change the precision, or formatting for the dimension. The right click menu will also list common option for the type of dimension selected. I will modify the properties of this dimension to add a tolerance using the property manager. The drop down menu allow me to choose a type of tolerance. Then I will define the values and change the tolerance precision to be 3 place decimals. Multiple items can be selected to adjust properties that they have in common all at once. Here I will use my control key to select two dimensions and access the dimension palette this time. I will add to inspection dimension border and adjust the precision to be 3 place decimal as well. Notice when multiple dimensions are selected, alignment options are presented in the palette. I'll choose to auto arrange these are dimension options so they are equally spaced from the part. I can adjust the spacing with the spin wheel or by typing in a value. Next, I would like to modify these diameter dimensions to be displayed as linear rather than with a ladder. Common display options can be accessed in the right click menu. For the first dimension, I'll right click and choose display options. Display as linear from the menu. The linear dimension is not aligned the way I want it, so I'll use the grab handle above the text to rotate it. Grab handles are highlighted when a dimension is selected and are used to reposition dimensions, arrows, and extensions lines. Hovering the cursor over a grab handle will display cursor feedback relating to the grab handle. More display options for a dimension can be accessed in the property manager. For the next dimension, I'll select it and click on the leaders tab, where I can modify its display to be linear. I will again use the grab handles to rotate and reposition to the dimension in the view. Different type of dimension will have different properties available that are modifiable. When I select radius dimension, the leaders tab include a checkbox arc extension line or opposite side. This will allow me to display the dimension more appropriately by not having the leader cut across the part. I will also use a grab handle here to flip the arrow to the opposite side and accomplish the display I am looking for. Another common modification to dimension is adding text. I will add some text to the dimension in the drawing that relate to the group pattern features. Text can be added by using the dimension palette in the graphic area or the property manager. The dim showing in the text box here is a link to the dimensions value. To enable the dimension to properly update if changes to the model occur, this link needs to be present. The dimension is typical for both patterns, so I will add text to indicate this. There are more dimensions in the drawing that I would like to apply this same text to. One shortcut to accomplishing this is create dimension styles that can be applied to other dimensions. Styles are available with many different annotations and will save the entity properties to be easily reused. Styles can be saved as external files as well. They can be reused in any drawing I might be working on. I'll use the option to add a style and give it name of a pattern. In detail A, I'll press the control key to select the dimension I wish to apply the style to and choose pattern from the drop down in the property manager. all the properties including the text and copies to the selected dimensions. After applying this style, the dimensions are independent from the one another and can be modified as necessary. One or more way to manipulate dimensions that I would like to mention in the how to align dimensions in a view. One technique is to use two yellow interference lines that appear when moving dimensions to aid in positioning them in line with each other. I also briefly demonstrated earlier the alignment command in the dimension palette, which are available when two or more dimensions are selected. These same commands are located in the right-click menu by choosing Align, or in the Tools Align drop-down menu. There are also alignment commands available in the Dimension menu here that will look dimensions in alignment with each other. Choosing Align collinear, radial, or Align parallel concentric in this menu will ensure dimension will move together if repositioned. The right-click menu can be used to break the alignment if necessary.